Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating concept, how honor opens leadership doors. We're diving straight into what you might call the unspoken currency of leadership access. Let's validate a super common frustration right out of the gate, okay? Why do incredibly talented people get stuck in the hallway? You know the feeling, right? You've got the talent, you work insanely hard, your resume is literally spotless, but you're still shut out of the room where the actual decisions happen. You're just pacing the hallway while others get invited inside. So why exactly does that happen? Well, we usually just assume someone missed our talent, but the source material points us in a completely different direction. It turns out, talent alone doesn't open doors. Trust does. Look at this quote. Leaders make room for emerging leaders, and honor is the mechanism that unlocks those rooms. Every leader eventually has to decide whether to make room for the next generation. And that decision, it's built entirely on trust. It's really about how an emerging leader carries themselves around authority, long before they're handed any actual power.
Section 1. The key, redefining honor.
To finally get inside those rooms, we've got to stop passively waiting around for opportunities to just drop into our laps. And on the flip side, we have to stop aggressively pushing, because that actually slams doors shut. Instead, we need to understand honor. Now, honor isn't blind deference, it's not brown-nosing or laughing at your boss's terrible jokes. It's highly practical. By definition, it's doing excellent work on unglamorous tasks without being asked twice, representing leaders well, and giving credit upward. It's the active currency that gets doors opened for you, often when you aren't even watching. So what does this actually look like on a random Tuesday afternoon? Let's break down these practical markers. It means tackling that unglamorous task, like finally organizing that chaotic shared drive, and doing it exceptionally well without needing to be asked twice. It means when the boss is absent, you represent them and the organization perfectly. It means when you inevitably disagree with a decision, you keep those disagreements private and respectful, not venting in the break room. And it means giving credit outward and upward rather than hoarding it all for yourself. Young professionals who try to claim authority before earning this trust? Yeah, those doors stay permanently closed. They simply haven't spent the currency of honor yet. Moving on to Section 2, the internal enemy, killing your pride. To really execute this kind of honor, we've got to confront the massive roadblock in our way. Spoiler alert, the biggest obstacle keeping you out of the room isn't a lack of talent or some unfair manager. It's that little internal voice saying, a task is beneath you. That's pride. Let's look at pride versus service. Pride desperately needs to be the smartest in the room. It totally resents feedback and only wants to do visible, credited tasks. Service, though, service just needs to be the most useful. Now, killing your pride absolutely does not mean killing your ambition. It just means separating your self-worth from whether a task is glamorous or convenient. And this brings us to a really crucial redefinition. Service isn't just a list of chores you begrudgingly check off until you're promoted. As you can see, service is a posture. It's a lens for your entire workday. It's walking into a space and consistently asking, what does this room or this team actually need from me right now, instead of what will make me look good? Real service is tackling the job nobody assigned but literally everyone needed done. And the real kicker? Continuing to do it at a high level even when absolutely no one is tracking your rewards. Section 3. The boss fight. Navigating difficult people. Let's be totally real for a second. It's incredibly easy to serve leaders we already admire, right? But reality isn't always that clean. Every emerging leader is eventually going to face someone who is abrasive, unfair, or just plain difficult. And when that happens, human instinct screams at us to do one of two things: withdraw completely or fight back. But guess what? Neither of those build honor. Treating difficult people with honor, without caving to bad behavior, and without escalating the drama, is exactly how you prove to everyone watching that you are finally ready for more responsibility. So how do we actually pull that off? Well, here's a highly practical, constructive approach with 4 key steps. First up, separate the person's behavior from your response. You control your conduct, period. Second, address issues directly and privately. Complaining to coworkers is easy, but private confrontation, that's honor and action. Third, look for the legitimate concern wrapped up inside their terrible delivery. There's usually a real issue in there somewhere. And finally, number 4, you must differentiate between what is difficult and what is harmful. I really want to pause on that last point because it is absolutely crucial. Difficult people are worth working with. Genuinely harmful situations are not. You should patiently work with difficult folks, the ones who are annoying, demanding, or a bit too blunt.
That builds character. But you should never blur the lines by deciding to just serve harder in genuinely abusive or exploitative situations. Harmful situations require strict boundaries, not more service. Honestly, just knowing the difference between the two is a massive leadership trait in itself.
All right, Section 4, the training ground, strategic volunteering.
Let's see how this all builds into real, actionable career momentum. We've kind of got to reframe how we view volunteering. Usually, volunteering is pitched to young professionals as charity, unpaid labor, or just a way to pad a resume. But let's look at volunteering as charity versus volunteering as leverage. The source material reframes this entirely. Volunteering is actually your ultimate low-risk proving ground. It's the very first place you can demonstrate honor, kill your pride, and offer genuine service long before anyone owes you a promotion. It's a deliberate investment.
To really maximize this volunteer leverage, you've got to be strategic about it. Choose your roles based on the specific skills you want to grow. Target environments featuring the exact leaders you want to learn from. And here's the real secret sauce. Focus on working alongside someone in the trenches rather than just being introduced to them. The relationships you form while sweating out a project together, like carrying boxes or setting up a room early, those tend to be vastly more durable than just shaking hands at a networking event. Those trench-built relationships are the ones that open doors. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, unlocking your door.
Understanding the theory is great and all, but applying it is what actually turns the handle, right? So here is your action plan for this week. First, identify one leader whose room you want to be trusted in. Second, list 3 unglamorous, completely uncredited things you can do for them this month to build that trust. Third, pinpoint a difficult relationship in your life and plan out one honor-based response. And finally, pursue one volunteer role specifically for relationship building, not just for the shiny credential. Try this out and watch how it transforms your access.
I'll leave you with this provocative question to chew on. Where in your life is pride currently costing you access? Take a really hard look at your current situation. Think about a task you're avoiding right now just because it feels beneath you. What doors might swing wide open for you if you finally chose honor instead?